What's up,
Okay.
everybody? Welcome to Fortress of Comic News. I am one of the people that talks here, Chris, alongside this
Mike,
beautiful man.
the guy who almost picked his nose. You almost got me that time. Hey, it's I think it's episode 15. Oh no, 17. I'm sorry, I missed a couple episodes there.
Yeah, we're
Wow.
we're up there.
We're almost at the 2-0. I feel like since we've come this far, we should start doing more fun things for our fans, like giveaways and stuff. I'm thinking there might be in the near future, especially for we just hit a milestone. We have 500 Facebook likes,
Yes.
so that definitely deserves, I think, a giveaway. So stay tuned. Look on the Facebook page for that stuff. You'll know more soon. I haven't even told Chris about this idea, so even he's probably excited for the giveaway.
Can I win?
Yeah, anyone could win if you try hard enough. You just make a separate account posing as someone else. The pop figure will be mine.
I was going to make a joke about me posting a Facebook page with my first letters of each name reversed. But then I remember what my last name sounds like when you do that, and I can't make that joke.
Turd?
No.
No.
Take the first letter of my name and put it as the first letter of my last name.
Oh, yeah, you can't. It turns out to be a very bad word, kids.
Yes, that'll
That you-
offend a lot of people.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that. Formerly known as the C word.
Who is
Jeez,
this?
that sucks.
Raristifer.
Well, it's been a couple weeks. I think the most recent thing that's dropped, well, first of all, I have a complaint to talk about.
Oh, here we go.
So, Star Wars tickets are going on sale Monday at midnight for the East Coast. Now, why the hell does it have to be midnight for the East Coast and people on the West Coast get to buy their tickets at a reasonable time, 9 p.m.? Right?
Yeah, because now I have to
Doesn't
wake
make
up at midnight.
It doesn't make any sense because obviously we wake up early for work, so it's like, oh, we're just going to, you got to stay up till midnight and try to buy the tickets. And we all know that nobody's going to buy the tickets at midnight because what usually happens is Fandango will crash for about half an hour to 35 minutes. You'll log in, you'll buy the tickets, but then it won't register, so you'll buy like 3 more sets of tickets to make sure that you have the tickets for the night, and then you got to return them the next day. So they should just do it earlier in the day or like on a weekend or something.
Well, what's funny is when they did the Force Awakens tickets, I bought mine the next day
You did?
for a night before showing. So,
Wow.
I don't know. Around here must not be that hard.
I'm actually going. My cousins will be. It's perfect timing because that weekend my cousins are coming up from Florida and they're all Star Wars fans. So it's like I've been deemed the task of buying 6 tickets and making sure that we're all in the same row. It's like, it'll work. Yep, I'm gonna get them. I'll get them Friday night. Don't you worry.
See, mine's not quite as bad. Mine is I have to buy 2 tickets, one for me and my girlfriend. But the thing is, we both use PTO for the day.
Oh, yeah.
So that we could go the night before. So if we can't, that's gonna be a waste of a day off.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. The new trailer dropped to announce the sales of the tickets. Nothing. There wasn't any more Darth Vader in this trailer than there was. I think they're saving. It's like Jaws. They're saving the Darth Vader for the movie, or at least I hope so. We got to get a lot of Darth Vader.
Yeah, there has to be a ton of it.
What we did get to see was, I can't remember the name of the new droid that's voiced by Alan Tudyk. But he throws a grenade and then like walks away and doesn't look at the explosion like all badass characters do. Which that was cool to see a droid being badass because I don't know if we've really seen that so far in any of the. Usually when a droid, a rebel droid like hurts other people, it's because it's like a comical event. It's not something so badass. But
Yeah, Alec Tudyk, he's the pirate from Dodgeball, right?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything else important, right? Like, that's it.
Oh, Firefly, you mean? You've seen Firefly, right?
I've seen one episode.
Uh,
And the movie.
it's really sad because one of the actors died. Was it, I think, yesterday?
Yeah. Which kind of puts a pin on the bringing the show back.
Yeah. Which I don't think it was ever going to happen ever again.
Yeah, that was just fans really wanted to happen.
So did you see the new Kong Skull Island trailer?
I did. It's awesome.
It was awesome. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, the first trailer, you can really sway the way a movie looks by just the trailer. Like, obviously, that's an obvious statement, but the first trailer, it was like, they made it look like, oh, this is going to be like a horror movie. Like, you go to the island, there's a big monkey, he's going to, like, rip you apart. The end. But this one is like, it's a monster movie. Like, they're like, it's like they're stuck on Monster Island or something. Oh, it looks so cool. And then John C. Reilly, look at that, the ultra mega cast that they have. They have Samuel Jackson, John C. Reilly, is it Adrian Brody? Or not Adrian Brody, I'm sorry. Loki, Tom Hiddleston. And, John Goodman. Are you kidding me?
The fact that John Goodman's in it is enough for me.
Yep.
But John C. Reilly's part was really great. Like, added a little bit of humor to the whole proceedings.
But then you see that shot of him, like, holding the ninja sword.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's been stuck there a while, so he's probably... He's had a lot of time to train to slice trees with a ninja sword and practice, So, like, he's probably that goofy character, but, like, when he has to throw down, oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, he's going to have, like, that moment, that Yoda moment, where he's just like, wow, this guy kicks ass.
Yeah. You just think he's, like, pointless. I mean, like, Samuel Jackson, dude, he'll do anything. But and they made Kong a lot bigger. I don't remember Kong being that big, but it's definitely a lot bigger. I guess they had to make him that big because the next movie he's going to be fighting Godzilla, is what I've heard.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, they're going to do it. Like, I can't wait for that.
I do hope that they go into like the natives and their whole thing with Kong being a idol, and a god, and like I thought that whole backstory looked really interesting. So I hope that they go more.
Yeah, like here's this giant monkey, but like he's not the villain, you idiots. You just bombed his island and you woke up these giant man-eating lizards.
Yeah.
Like I'd be pissed too. It's my island now. I got like a cockroach infestation I got to take care of. That shot of him like walking across the river, though, oh, dude! Even the poster they released was awesome too.
I am 100% down with this movie.
It reminded me a lot of the Rogue One poster too, with all the stormtroopers standing in the water.
Yeah, and the helmet in the front.
Yeah. It was like I don't know, a homage to that or something. I did just think of something from the Rogue One trailer though. So. The scene where they're shooting at the AT-ATs?
Yeah, and they have the bazooka.
Yeah, and he shoots at it. Yeah, because I remember the first trailer. I'm wondering, like, there's no way a bazooka is just going to hurt an AT-AT like that, but it does. Like, it hits it, and an AT-AT looks at him like, you friggin' idiot. I'm gonna blast you. Like, Luke Skywalker had to climb up underneath me and slice me open with a lightsaber. You think that like a rocket is gonna? Come on.
Well, they haven't met Luke yet, so they don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I see a lot of people online like, I don't know where this movie takes place in the timeline. How does this have to do with Star Wars 8? We're not getting a Star Wars movie. It's like it is a Star Wars movie. I don't understand the complaint here.
Well, it's funny because I've had this discussion with people. It's just like, wait, like why is Vader in this? Like, we saw his helmet melted in the last movie. It's just like, okay, and I'm going to lay it down for everybody listening.
Everybody listen up.
So every other year, they're doing a numbered Star Wars movie. So we had 7. and then next year we will have 8, and then 2 years after that we'll have 9. In between, they are doing solo movies. So this is Rogue One, based on the Rogue One squad, taking place before Episode 4. Does this make sense?
Before.
Does everyone get this?
So
and then
in the
next one is
timeline,
probably
it
going to be
goes.
Han Solo, which also takes
Yep.
place before this. But
So-
then next year will be Episode 8. That's when we will continue the Kylo Ren story. Okay? Calm down.
I know it's either this or we get nothing in between Star Wars 7 and 8. So I don't know. I don't know what the big complaint is.
I'm so down with this. Like, more Star Wars and more, like, different stories, not just lightsabers and Sith.
I don't. And the thing is, like, this all okay. So it goes 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It goes in between the trilogies.
It gets hard when you get into people like me who read the books and read the comics and watch the cartoons.
Yeah, but that's your own fault, Chris.
But then you can say, like, oh, I don't really know where stuff's going. But still, like, the movies, I get it. And I get where most stuff goes. It goes 1, 2, Clone Wars, 3, Rebels, Rogue One, 4, pretty much all the comics have come out, except for Poe Dameron, 5, 6, Poe Dameron, 7, then 8. See,
Yeah, you lost me.
Timeline down.
You lost me at
I
Clone
didn't even
Wars.
go into the books, all right? So
Yeah. Now it's getting that's complicated. People shouldn't complain until they heard that. Yeah, so the Justice League Dark trailer, we haven't talked about that.
looked really cool.
Yeah,
First R-rated cartoon. From
I know.
DC.
Well, there was one other, The Killing Joke, but we don't really talk about that.
But was that R-rated?
Yeah, because there was that whole sex scene.
No. Okay. Well, ignore me.
Yep.
My facts are wrong.
Yep. Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, I was in FYE yesterday. I was Black Friday shopping, and I just saw like all, FYE has like all the returned Blu-ray section, and there was a whole Batman section. And the most returned one in the Batman section was the Killing Joke DVD. And what I noticed there wasn't any returned DVDs of is the Caped Crusader, the Return of the Caped Crusader. So
That's because if you return that, you should get slapped.
yeah. Every return you get slapped, and it makes a giant slap like bubble, like slap when they hit you, like 60s Batman style. Okay, so the Justice League Dark trailer. 2 cool things. Number one, that I enjoy, that it's going to be Batman heavy, obviously.
Which is a good way to connect it to like normal DC fans.
Yeah, you just put Batman and everything. But we're gonna get Swamp Thing. We get Constantine and Swamp Thing talking to each other. Like that's gonna be fantastic.
The Swamp Thing scene looked cool.
And it was like, they had to get the whole team, and then they went and got him last. So they better show him like super godlike powers or something.
One thing I really liked too is I was looking at the cast, and forgive me for forgetting people's names, but the person who voices Constantine was the guy who played Constantine in the TV show and also in Arrow.
Oh, is it him? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So I don't know the actor, but he did. I saw him post on Twitter or something saying like "thank you" to the fans, and I didn't know what it was for, but apparently that must be it. Like they got him to voice the character now.
Yeah. So he's kind of taking like that character and making it his own, even though his stuff kind of wasn't as successful.
Yeah, I mean, the problems I had with the Constantine show wasn't him at all. Like he was Constantine.
I've been watching Arrow season 4, and I know your whole thing about that season, but I just saw the episode with Constantine in it, and I really liked him.
That was a favorite episode of that season.
Yeah, that was a good like one episode, and like he was really good in it, so I'd be willing to check out Constantine based on that.
Yeah, well, I think what happened was I think CW needs to take control of it and give us like, okay, so Supernatural's ending, right? Season 12 finally. So what you got to think is like they're going to need some type of ghost and goblin heavy show, why not do like a Justice League Dark show? Like, I think that would go way better than a movie. Have a Justice League Dark TV show.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I think with them doing a movie now, like any hopes of that show coming back are probably gone.
yeah. I don't know. I guess you wait and see. Did you hear that FX? Well, FX already has the show Legion coming out. It's tied to the X-Men, but they also bought the rights to Y: The Last Man.
I did.
They announced the show, so it's happening.
We'll see. I don't know.
I
It could
mean,
go either way.
they could go like 5 seasons with that show. It's all the best. You're going to see all the best comic book properties get bought up in the next few years, easily.
Oh, yeah. And I wanted to say one thing, because Shia LaBeouf was once attached to this.
Oh,
If he plays the lead, I'm done.
yeah.
I won't watch a single episode.
Are you serious?
He's awful.
Oh my god, I love Shia LaBeouf.
He's the worst.
You just
I
don't
was
like
so-
his acting?
I was so glad when he went crazy, because that meant I didn't have to see him anymore.
I don't think yeah, the whole him going crazy thing, that was fine. It didn't bother me, but like I enjoyed his movie. I saw what movie did I see with him? The Tank movie. I thought he was really good in that Tank movie.
See, okay, this is my Shia LaBeouf like timeline. Like, I saw the first Transformers movie, wanted to kill myself. Saw the second Transformers movie, also wanted to kill myself. Then I was forced to see the third one, and I fell asleep in the movie theater. And that was when I was done with this man. And then, oh no, he's going to be in Indiana Jones, and he ruins the movie.
Whoa, I don't think he ruined the movie.
Oh, he's the worst part of that movie easily.
It was the aliens at the end of the movie is what ruined it. The fridge actually.
Trust me, the script of that movie is awful too, but he's just the worst in that movie.
You just went in that movie with a sour Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and that's why I can't watch him anymore, because I just hate him. He's the worst.
Well, I'm indifferent about it. I think he needs a job.
I'll let him keep being crazy.
He does like to scream no a lot. That's one of the things CinemaSins always talks about, is where he starts screaming no in the middle of his movies. All the Transformers movies, he's like no 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 no, and then the new Transformers movies, you just have Mark Wahlberg going, I'm an engineer.
Is that a Transformer?
Is that a Transformer? And then he just punches the Transformers and they go down because he's so jacked.
That's another one, Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, so I've been hearing. It first started with rumors that we were gonna, when Fantastic Beasts came out, that we were gonna get a Justice League trailer, but that never happened. So at some point soon, we're gonna get a new Justice League trailer. I don't know, and I heard it's very Aquaman heavy, which is what you would love to hear.
As it should be, because Aquaman is the greatest superhero in the DC universe.
What if there's a movie with Batman in it where Aquaman is the center of attention? What a world to live in.
That would be just justice, because then all the haters will come to my side. And I will fill out your transcripts to transfer over to Team Aquaman. I get it. But he's obviously better than every other hero in DC.
Yeah. I mean, he hangs out underwater, too. Yeah, I think I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Aquaman.
All seriousness, though, I'm stoked for that movie.
I know. I really want to see the new trailer. I don't know. If I had to guess when it's going to drop, I'd say during Star Wars.
That would be the smart way to do it.
Like IMAX theater Star Wars. Like, hey guys, you're about to see Star Wars, but let me drop this Justice League trailer in IMAX on you because I'm Zack Snyder and I go big or go home.
When I walk into Star Wars, I better see ahead of it Justice League, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
And there's one more I'm blanking on, but like I better see these nerd heavy movies coming up.
Justice League, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe.
I wouldn't expect to see Guardians of the Galaxy, but that would be a good move too. Wonder Woman. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman better be there too.
Yeah, just do all superhero movies. That'd be fine. Thanks. Yeah. So moving on. I think that's it for movies so far. I haven't seen Fantastic Beasts yet, so
I've only seen like 2 Harry Potter movies, so
so it'll be me just talking about it per usual.
probably, unless I catch up on Harry Potter.
The TV shows. Oh, okay. So yeah, last week's Walking Dead episode. Spoilers, but Negan shows up and he meets Rick. Well, he doesn't meet him, but we've already met him. But he shows up and he has Rick hold the bat. Well, this is 2 episodes ago, right?
That was 2 weeks ago. But
We got a couple. We got a couple episodes to talk about. So the first one, Negan shows up early and takes all the guns. All the guns.
Yeah.
So basically, they're screwed.
Yeah, really great episode. So yeah, he comes up, takes all the guns, takes all the bedding.
Yeah, and then they burn the beds.
And at the end they burn the beds.
Yeah,
so you can tell that was
up.
just you are no longer living comfortably, like you live under us situation.
Oh damn! I didn't even think about it that way. Like, you're not. You were once comfortable. Now you're not.
Yeah, now you belong to us now. I thought that it was a really great episode for Negan. Like, he had some amazing moments.
Yeah.
And Andrew Lincoln, like, just giving the stone face, like, fuck you. Like, the entire show was great.
Yeah.
But the takeaway from this episode for me was that my favorite line from all of Walking Dead was in this episode. And that's when Negan walks up to Rick and says, "I just slid my dick down your throat and you thanked me for it."
Yeah, I was like,
just
wow.
Shows what a dick he is.
First of all, I was like, damn, did this go like X-rated? I don't know. But yeah, I was like, children watch this show. Come on, guys. But then, I thought about it. Like, yeah, Glenn got his head beat in, so I guess, they just keep pushing further and further. But that's not what I was expecting him to say. But damn, I'm glad he said it.
It's just such a good line for him, because it shows, like, this guy is cocky as hell, like, knows that he has you under his thumb, and just is the biggest asshole you will ever meet.
And that statement had a lot more weight to it than just being a raunchy statement. It was like, the whole episode, he was like, if you thank me and you obey me, then I'll be good for you. We'll take care of you, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, he finally gets Rick to say thank you, and he's like, yeah. He's like, I know I'm being an asshole to you, and it's completely unorthodox to treat people like this, but you thanked me for it, so I'll see you later.
Yeah, great episode. And then
the episode after that, we get to see Sasha and Maggie and where they've been hiding the whole time.
Yeah, up at the hilltop.
The hilltop with Jesus,
who had like a great parkour moment.
Yeah,
he just slid down from the second level of that house.
Yeah, and then he jumps off the wall and kicks that zombie. Like, jumping off the wall does nothing for your kicks, but it looks really cool.
And this was another great episode for the villains, because it showed I forget the guy's name, but the guy who looks like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
It showed him taking control,
and
the fact they went through all that trouble just to make a point.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite part of the whole thing was when they go to the car. This car is making all this music and it's tracking zombies into and they go to the car, and the lock in the car is just a middle finger.
Yeah. Like someone, so they had a blacksmith cut out a piece of sheet metal or forge a middle finger just to mount to a car.
Like, this is one of those moments where it's just like, you walked a mile just to, do a few steps. Like, it was so over the top.
Yep.
And then his whole part where they go to reveal where Maggie and Sasha are hiding, and it's actually his like prized scotch.
Yeah, prized
He's just
scotch.
like, well, I mean, I'll take this and give it to Negan, but I'm gonna tell him it's from me. You know, I could use the brownie points.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, it was so good. And then I almost thought this wasn't going to happen. I don't know if I talked to you about it, but we do get to see the scene from the comic where Carl hops on the supply wagon and
yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen because I thought they made Daryl the Carl for this season.
Yeah, but if you think, Rick last episode, Rick saw Daryl, and that still didn't motivate him to be like, yeah, we should probably go to war with these guys. But the fact that, Jesus goes along with them, I think, Jesus is going to get away, and Carl's going to get captured, and that's how we're going to find out.
So yeah, I think Jesus is going to jump out and try to get Carl to go with him, because this is more of a recon mission for him.
Yeah.
Whereas Carl's just like, no, I'm going to kill Negan.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how it's going to go, because I almost wonder if Carl's going to die this season.
Oh, man.
There's, like, speculation, because I guess his contract is up for this season.
Oh, man.
But I
love
wonder
me some speculation.
He's getting too... In terms of television, like, he's just getting too old.
Yeah.
And it would make sense kind of kill him off and then just make Rick's baby there the new Carl.
Uh-huh. But
we'll see. I kind of hope it goes the way it did in the comics, where we get to see Negan's like upper layer and everything.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's interesting how they put him and Jesus there together, but like Jesus didn't even freak out about it. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" But yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. Either way, it's a terrible idea. But you talk about him getting killed off in the season. I was like, him kissing random girl that I still don't know her name. I'm like, he's so dead. One of them is so dead because like you like, oh wow, that's sweet. They're like, you don't have time to love people in this world. Come on.
Well, I feel like they had to get that right. I don't know her name either. They had to get that girl to the hilltop because she has to play the role of is it Suzanne, the little girl that Maggie raises in the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna play that role.
Sophia still.
Sophia.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a rush to get her up there to be like, this is the new Sophia. Like, she needs to be there with. But the whole scene with them like rollerblading.
Yeah.
It's just like, just stop it.
Don't do that. There was no need for the rollerblade scene.
That's as bad as the girl who was like singing at the end of every episode, like in the beginning of the show.
Oh, Beth.
Like, I just don't like Beth. I was so happy when Beth died. Like, just no more of this crap. Like, just give me the show.
Like, she started saying, I'm like, I understand we don't have TV and radios anymore, but like, do I really have to listen to you sing every night?
It was funny because like every girl I know, every girl, woman, whatever I know was like, oh, I love Beth, she's the best and everything. And then when she died, they're all sad, and I was just like, oh, thank God she's dead. Like, I just can't take her anymore.
Yeah. I was over that. Yeah. So I started. I think we could probably bury that topic just like they buried Glenn. And
ooh, shots fired.
But yeah, so I started watching this fantastic show called Harmon Quest, and I actually finished the first season.
The guy has been trying to get me to watch it for like 3 weeks now.
I've been trying to get all my friends to watch it. Okay, so let me give you the rundown. Chris and I love role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons. We love tabletoping games. Dan Harmon, who is co-creator of Community as well as Rick and Morty, I think he does a lot of the voices on Rick and Morty. I think he does the voice of Morty, or Rick, one of them. There's a app called Seeso, SEESO. It's a comedy app, so there's a lot of like stand-up comedians. SNL gets uploaded to it the day after, so like Sunday morning, SNL will be on there. It's basically Netflix, but they have the Cyanide and Happiness Show, which is a fantastic cartoon, exclusively on there, and as well as the show called Harmon Quest. So long story short, Harmon Quest is Dan Harmon and a few of his friends play live D&D, and their game master Spencer is fantastic. He's like a genius with these stories that he writes. But each episode they have a guest actor or actress on their show. So like this season they had Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec as one of them. They've had a bunch of other people that you recognize from television, but one of them, the finale was a writer, and Nathan Fillion was in the final episode. But what they do that's really special is like they record it and then they'll animate the scenes, so they'll all be talking, but they all kind of like act it out to where they dub their voices of this cartoon while it's playing. So it's like you get the live D&D, but then like when they explain scenes, like it shows all their characters and in a cartoon version. So it's almost animated like Rick and Morty is. Oh, it's so good.
You sold me better than the guy at work did.
Yeah.
Because all you had to say is Rick and Morty, and I was there.
Yep. That's all. I mean, that's all you really need. There's only one season on there right now, and I think the episodes are like 25 minutes, maybe, if that. But yeah, it's animated just like Rick and Morty is, so that's what really got me into it.
All right, check that out now.
But it's funny because like they have an actor, a new famous person each episode, so you know like at the end of the episode the character's gonna have to die somehow because they're not there for, or they something ridiculous happens. But it's funny because the DM does a really fantastic voice while he's explaining all the situations and stuff. It's great. It's a good time. Yeah, so check it out, Harmon Quest, and if you sign up for CISO, you get a free month. So if you don't like it, you just quit the free month after you watch all of Harmon Quest. So
cool beans.
Sold. Next, so really quick. The Flash episode this week was the Kevin Smith episode. It was really good. It was all about Killer Frost. But we've also got a glimpse at the new villain called Savitar on Flash. And he's like, he calls himself a god, basically. And he's probably the fastest speedster we've seen on the show yet. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, I know. It's another speedster villain. But that's just the interesting thing there. Supergirl was really good this week. There's just one thing to note that if anybody noticed in the fight scene on the last Supergirl, they introduced a new superhero on Supergirl. By the way, do you know Guardian? He was part of the Seven Soldiers of Victory. I believe he's on Justice League Unlimited. He's like, he wears like gold armor and has a shield.
No,
I'm pretty sure he was in Young Justice where they break Superboy out of wherever he was. But I'm pretty sure Guardian is part of that whole. Well, he's got a shield, but he's basically Captain America. Yeah, so super jacked Jimmy Olsen puts on a costume and becomes the Guardian, which is pretty cool. But there's this huge fight scene. Parasite shows up, which, oh man, I was so excited to see Parasite. Parasite is such like he's such a, I don't know, they use the villain all the time for Superman. He's such a well-renowned villain that so basically they started off Parasite like, have you ever seen the movie The Thing?
Yes. So
these scientists are like in Antarctica, and this alien breaks out, and it becomes Parasite. And they don't tell you right away, but you see like this purple glow, and he like starts absorbing everybody. I'm like, oh my god, it's Parasite! It's got to be Parasite. And they're like, oh, there seems to be some type of parasitic organism. I'm like, it's Parasite. It's got to be Parasite. But
just fucking say it.
Let's just say it. And then they to confirm it, they shoot bullets at him, and he like absorbs the bullets and gets stronger. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then he turns into like the purple guy that is It was awesome. But there's this really cool scene where Mon-El, who is one of the characters on there right now, who was part of the comics. Mon-El was part of the Legion of Superheroes. Mm-hmm. He gets a car thrown at him, or a little girl gets a car thrown at her, and he catches it. and the way he poses and catches the car, and the girl standing there, it's the first cover to Action Comics.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. It was like it was a pretty iconic, and they do a lot of that in Supergirl lately. Yeah, but it was awesome. I caught that, and I'm like, oh, that's so great. But yeah, I don't want to spoil too much of those shows because you don't really watch them either. I mean, so I just talk about the cool things that I like. But let's get down to the heart and soul of the show. Let's talk about some comics.
Yeah, comics.
Comics. I will say that.
Do you want to talk about the comic news first?
Yeah.
We only got a couple things, and one we're gonna kind of breeze over because we don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah, you do.
But they did announce a Darth Maul miniseries at Marvel.
Yep.
That's going to take place of the Han Solo miniseries, taking place before Episode 1. Everybody, it's before Episode 1.
Before the first episode, so it's like Darth Maul training montage.
Yeah, it's him, as an apprentice to Darth. Is it Sidious? Am I right here?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, too much in the brain. And yeah, so that should be interesting. Everybody loves Darth Maul, so more Darth Maul is good.
That's it's almost like Disney or Marvel understands who the most popular characters are right now.
Still waiting on my Jar Jar Binks book, Marvel.
Yeah, that like I said, it's almost like Marvel understands who the most popular characters are.
And then we don't like to get into politics here, but I thought this was an important thing to at least discuss.
Yeah.
There's been a surge of creators who have said that they will not go to cons in states that voted for Trump. I bring this up because some of them are a big deal. One being George Perez.
Yeah.
George Perez of Latino descent, so he has a reason to dislike the president-elect, but I just wanted to say this because if you are in a red state, he said that he will go to the cons that he is obligated to go to so far, but after that he will not go to any of them as a part of his protest for the president-elect. That's pretty much it. I mean, you can have your opinion on it. We have ours. I don't know if we're going to share them or not.
I'm just going to say this. We live in a state where everyone was allowed to vote for Trump. We also, well, not a state, I'm sorry, a country. We also live in a country where someone like George Perez can refuse to visit his fans at cons where people had the freedom to vote for that president. I mean, that's just the devil's advocate in the situation here. If I was a George Perez fan, obviously, well, I am a George Perez fan, but if I, wanted to see him at a con and I didn't get that opportunity, I'd be quite upset. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You might see more of this, but to say that, like, I think most of them, it's not like he would ever turn down going to New York Comic Con. I mean, the guy needs to make money eventually, so.
Well, that was the thing I was thinking, was that it's kind of convenient that New York and San Diego
are both blue.
Yeah, it's a little convenient, but
yeah. He had to check it. He had to check it quick before he made that statement.
Yeah. I agree with you. Everyone has their right to do what they want. I think it's kind of shitty for the fans because not all of them voted that way, but do what you got to do.
And to come out and say that, you have fans that obviously voted for Trump. It's just going to happen. So it's like,
yeah, I don't think it's a good place for a creator or podcaster or news outlet to get into. I just think it alienates people. I think that hurts a lot of indie creators that I know.
Yeah, for sure.
Who go on rants about it in public. I mean, I have my own discussions privately. But the only thing I would say is I like what some of the other creators are doing. Some other creators are instead taking that money and saying, oh, I'm in a red state, I'm going to donate to some sort of charity.
Yeah.
Or, whatever cause involving Latinos or minorities or blah, blah, blah. Personally, that's the way I would go. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to warn people that that is a possibility if you live in a state that voted for Trump.
And a lot of people are probably wondering who the hell George Perez is. I mean, I will say this. He's a fantastic artist. Have you ever read Crisis on Infinite Earths? Yep. Just just enjoy. But if you haven't read Crisis of Infinite Earths, you should probably go read that right now. You should probably just hang up the podcast, go read Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well, you can finish the podcast. Like,
well, you can finish the podcast.
Don't get hasty.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, that'll always be around. The podcast won't, I don't know.
No, the only thing I'll say about him is if you were a DC fan of any ilk, like I find myself to be a moderate DC fan, but he's probably one of the most important writers alongside Frank Miller and some others in DC lore. So you should read at least Crisis and his new Teen Titans run.
Is he doing the new Teen Titans?
He did the new Teen Titans in the 80s.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like the new one.
No,
yeah,
no.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah, the book is called The New Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know he was doing a Rebirth book. What? He came out of like retirement? Who knew?
Damian Wayne.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for comic news. We talk about our books. Last week, I only had 2. I'm a little behind. It's been crazy.
I'm going to start because some of the books you were talking about I've also read. So
all right, Chris is going to start. I'm going to sit back and put cruise control on.
So this isn't necessarily last week's books. We've had a few weeks off from the show, so bear with us. But Batman TMNT.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool. It kind of flipped the script from the last Batman TMNT crossover.
Mm-hmm.
First, this is the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the new Nickelodeon show.
Yeah.
And the Batman from Batman the Animated Series.
Which is crazy. You have all these 2 superpower cartoons coming together. I forgot that was happening.
And instead of Shredder coming over to Batman's universe, now it's Batman's villains going over to the TMNT universe.
Oh, dude.
And there's a great fight scene with the Turtles and Clayface, which makes me very happy.
That's like a wet dream for Chris.
I love Clayface.
Clayface versus the Ninja Turtles, everybody.
Especially that Clayface. Like, that's my Clayface. That's the one that I grew up watching.
Oh, yeah, animated series.
You probably didn't read this, but Thanos came out a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is done by Jeff Lemire, and I'm going to forget the artist, but great book. Jeff Lemire is a great writer. I'm mad that I can't remember the artist's name, but also a great artist. It was the artist who was on Thor: God of Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a chance to read this book, it really catches you up on everything that's happening in Thanos' world, and has an amazing cliffhanger at the end.
Oh, the first issue, this is cliffhanger?
Yes.
Mike Deodato.
Mike Deodato, thank you.
Yep.
One of the best artists in comics today.
Yeah, he is a pretty good artist. Yeah, I may take a look at it. So basically, I mean, the last time we saw Thanos was during the whole Infinity War crossover run, really, right? Or
Thanos had been trapped on Earth. We had actually seen him on in Civil War 2.
Oh, okay.
He was in the first issue of Civil War 2. He's trapped on Earth, and now he's obviously gotten out and doing his thing. And his son Thane is in it. Well, I'm not a big fan of, but they do a really cool thing with him, and they bring some of the other Eternals into the story.
Okay.
Or new gods.
Awesome. Basically, or the new gods. Yeah. There's the whole property thing.
Yeah, because they all copy each other.
They all copy.
The James Bond comic, there's actually 2 of them right now, by Dynamite. If you're not reading it, read it. It's amazing.
So what's the difference between the two comics that are out right now?
They're both in the same universe. They're just telling different stories. One's written by Warren Ellis.
Bond?
Yes, same James Bond.
Okay.
So one's doing the Hammerhead storyline. The other one's doing the... I can't pronounce the name. Idilion or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
My words no work good. Both really great books. Check them out. The art's cool. They're not too heavy on exposition. A lot of it's just like cool James Bond moments followed by amazing fight scene. followed by a little bit of talk, and then like him fucking somebody.
So it's a James Bond book.
Yeah, but it's a lot darker than like the James Bond we know. He's way more apt to kill somebody than find other ways around.
Awesome. Well, that's how like Casino Royale was.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe that's something I would probably check out in a trade for myself, just to get like that way you can read it and almost be like you're watching a movie, you know?
Yeah. And then also coming up in a few weeks here, actually, or a few months here, actually, James Robinson's doing a spin-off book from that universe.
Oh.
A American agent.
Oh.
And we all love James Robinson here.
That's gonna be pretty cool. Then they'll probably do like a team up or something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the books you were into.
Yeah, so we finally, I don't know how long it's been, but we finally got an issue of Invincible.
Yes, finally.
Issue 131. Yeah, there's a lot happening in this book. I mean, you know, and for me, I was expecting a lot of filler because that's kind of where we've been for the last few issues, but this was pretty awesome because, you know, this is the start of the end for us, really. You don't know what's going to happen to any of these characters, but basically Mark and Eve are, you know, get attacked. And Mark has to fly Tara away. But Tara's still really young to where, like, Mark can fly really fast, and it, like, affects Tara's hearing, and it hurts her, which is pretty cool. And then the fact that, like, you know, we start off at the beginning of the issue, you thought Mark's brother was going to be completely on the, you know, Thrag's evil side. But it's almost like, you know, he doesn't want any harm to come to Mark and his family, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, who would want to kill their own brother, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, he probably should have thought of that before he, like, wanted to help Thrag take over.
Well, he made a comment about him wanting to bring Mark over, and I think he had a hubris to him to say that, like, well, I can make Mark understand, I can bring him to our side. You don't have to do this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he could talk some sense into him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the issue ends with where is it? Oh yeah, he's fighting like the half-breed Vulturemites and drops Tara, and she starts falling. The way I would want to start the next issue is just have her splat, like fall dead. That's what I would want to see, because I don't think I've ever seen that in a comic. But you know, someone's going to swoop down and save her, and I think it's going to be Mark's brother.
It would be ballsy if it was like a saga style first page. Yeah,
which is like her splat on the floor. That would be the Brian K. Vaughan way to do it. The Robert Kirkman way to do it is everybody has a happy time, and Mark's brother's going to come in and save the day. But you know, it's the whole power level thing is what really is confusing me, because Mark should be able to take these half-breed Vulturemites pretty easily, just for the fact that he's trained and he's, you know, gotten stronger over the years. But I guess he hasn't fought in a while. I don't know.
That, and it seems like he's spending a lot of his energy trying to save his daughter as opposed to fighting him. So he's kind of literally fighting with one hand tied behind his back.
I think if she dies, then that would drive him to just go for it, you know, let loose.
My perfect ending would be like that happens, he dies.
Yeah.
And then that drives him mad. He ends up killing the Vulturemite king.
Yeah.
Or leader. And then takes his place.
Yep.
Just becomes a tyrant.
And you think, this is what I want to happen. I would be okay with Mark dying in the end. I would like the book to be about Eve. I would like, so like if he says it's the end of Invincible, that's fine. Like, kill off those characters, but give me a book about Eve now. Like, her family's gone. Make her the center of the attention.
That'd be cool.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily written by Kirkman. Like, let us do something with that character now. But that's what I would want to see. I don't think he's a very strong. Mark is not a very strong lead character anymore. Something happened to where he was ready to give in and not care. I don't know.
I think Mark's gotten to the point where he just wants to live and he doesn't want to be a superhero.
Yeah.
He just wants to be a person and raise his daughter, and
yep.
nobody's letting him do it. And that's what's kind of hurting his characterization, is that he just doesn't want to be there.
Yep.
What
a ride to get here, though. I mean, I've always loved this comic, and
oh yeah, the Viltrumite War, up to that was some of the best comics I've ever read.
Yeah,
even past that, it's still great. It's just not up to par.
Okay, another good book to talk about, Reborn, by the super group, Greg Capullo and Mark Miller. Holy crap.
Might get graphic, everybody. We're talking about Greg Capullo.
Yeah, it might get graphic. So this book, first of all, it's just spectacular to look at. I mean, I find myself, it's a perfect combination because Greg Capullo lets his art speak so much, right? And Mark Miller always just gives you enough conversation or exposition to where you don't need to sit there and stay on a page for 10, 15 minutes. But I just catch myself going back and staring at the pages just because they're so well drawn.
Yeah, and I think Greg Capullo is doing some of his best work.
Yeah.
I think this and this is saying a lot. This is just a leaps and bounds above what he did for Batman.
And it is because one page they're fighting samurais, and the next page they're in a giant world, and then the final page we see all the villains and these monsters, and it's almost like he's combining what he learned in Batman with his old stuff in Spawn, and it's just fantastic. I would let him draw every book if I could.
And you have it in front of you, so I want you to go to the final place, because this is probably my favorite moment in comics all year.
Yep.
When the cat is talking.
Yep. Where I was going to talk about this too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just say the line, because you know what line I'm talking about.
Okay. So let me give it a little. If anybody doesn't know what this book is, Reborn is it's a play on when you die and how you get reincarnated. So basically, we're exploring all these characters after they've died, and then it's the heaven and hell of the side of this afterlife. Is you're either for the good or for the evil. I forgot what they named them, but you kind of take a side, and if you were evil or if you went to hell, you would go fight on the evil side, and if you were somewhat of a good spirited person, you would fight for the good.
And our hero was the goodest of the good.
Our hero was the best person that ever lived, so they were waiting for her arrival, and she gets there and she meets her father, but nobody looks the same. They're all reincarnated as their best version of themselves. Physically, yeah, of course. Everybody's just super jacked and super good looking. Yeah. But you find out that animals can come back as well. So we have the first part of the book. They want help to go fight the evil, I think, and so you meet one of her friends from when she was younger, one of her best childhood friends, who was also a very religious person, that when she came to this afterlife, or whatever it is now, she was extremely disappointed and lost faith because this wasn't the heaven that she was expecting. So now she kind of rules as a queen in the world and almost lost her mind, which it's crazy when you think about that, because you do have those type of people that are, there's nothing wrong with being religious or, even extremely religious like this character was, but to come over to your side, you find out that there's an afterlife, but it's not the one that you expected. It's just a meaningless war between two sides. That would mess a character up, and if you saw in this issue, she kind of went crazy.
Yeah, and it says a lot about how somebody should react, could react to the afterlife.
Yeah.
If that was to happen, and what dedicating your life to religion can do to you.
Yep.
I thought that was a great moment.
You can only talk like this about Mark Miller books, man. It's either this or Grant Morrison, but if this is a Grant Morrison book, it would have been Aliens behind it all or something. But okay, so what Chris was talking about, the final scene, we've been hearing about these villains, and we finally get to witness, the villain, and he hires his henchman who's like a cat that walks on 2 feet, and he has this he has this ice power where he can summon like icicles. But he describes to the main overlord, the evil villain, that like, oh, I was her pet in the old world. She caused me a lot of pain, and he's like, oh, so your original owner must have had you destroyed. And she goes, no, my testicles were removed when I was 9 months old. Which is like, just think about this. Yeah, I mean, you have this villain, and then the villain hires a bounty hunter, but this bounty hunter is already out to get this girl because, like, in his perspective, he did nothing wrong and got his testicles chopped off.
Yeah. It's such a great line. Like,
yeah.
The way it was, I laughed and I was like, oh man, that's serious. Like, oh, my dog's gonna kill me someday.
Yeah, like if this is the afterlife that we're going to, we're screwed because all the pets are just gonna murder us.
Yeah, and it was so good. Like, that was my favorite moment of comics all year. Like, that one moment there.
Mark Miller just serves it up on a plate, and he's fantastic. But yeah, those are the two books I want to talk about. If you're not reading Reborn, please read Reborn. It is fantastic.
Speaking of Miller, did you read Empress yet?
Yeah, I actually have one more. I have the final issue to read for Empress. Empress is Miller's other book that he's been putting out.
Okay, I won't talk about it too much, but it's a great ending.
Is it?
And it's not going to be the end of that book.
It's like it was a giant space epic, which is awesome. It was like it reminded me of The Fifth Element almost. But
speaking of The Fifth Element, that movie that was coming out, what was
we
called?
talked about. It's a good question. I can't remember right now.
But I just bought the first volume of the comic.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I'm going to read that and
talk about it.
Any good.
Yeah, cool. That's exciting. Okay, so do we want to do the trade or do we want to do the?
Oh yeah, so every week we pick a trade that you should check out, and we do this. We have a link on our website to Amazon. If you click on that link, it'll send you straight to Amazon. And anything you purchase through that click, we get a little bit of a kickback. So it helps us out. It helps, pay for all this crap.
Yep.
It's more expensive than you think.
It is. It is. Who would have thought?
Yeah. And so I chose to talk about Southern Bastards Volume 1.
Fantastic. Oh, I just finished Volume 3. I read Volume 3 on my flight back from Germany. So yes, I have read it.
Okay, I've only read Volume 1 so far, but I was in love with it. It was one of those books, not since like I read Walking Dead and Trade have I had a book where I sat down, started it, and finished it that night. I just couldn't stop. It's about this guy who comes back to his town in the South and finds that everything's kind of gone to hell. And this one person kind of controls everything, and it happens to be the football coach.
Yep.
And it feels like it's going to be the story about this guy coming back and getting redemption for him and his family after he left, and bringing the town back to the greatness that it was when he was younger. And it's not that story at all.
It's way more darker. It's way more depressing than that, for sure.
Yeah, and it ends on such a great moment with his daughter that it just makes you want to read more. And I've actually been trying to get into reading more of it. But basically, I'm recommending this specifically, but anything with Jason Aaron on it,
yeah,
is probably a good decision on your part.
He's a big Marvel writer. But yeah, it's a fantastic trade. I breezed right through it too. I couldn't put it down. But yeah, it's a great trade. Even if you didn't want to invest in a second one, it's pretty cheap. I think it's $10 maybe.
Yeah, because all Image first volumes are $10.
Yeah, so it's even cheaper on Amazon probably right now.
Yeah.
But the way that story ends and you pick up the next one, it's a definitive story within itself, but it's part of an overlying other story. So we get to, it focuses all on him and just a beaten down man, and you get to see all these people that were once, kings in the high school football era that,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this does take place down in the South where football is king, and since the coach of this high school football team is the head coach, he kind of runs everything around there.
Yeah, and it's almost like Walking Tall, but a lot more messed up.
Yeah, great.
It's not a happy version. It's a very depressing version of Walking Tall.
And it seems to me like the story, the overarching story, is going to be more about the town than individual people.
Yeah. You're right. The second volume, it really explores each. There's several individual characters that we start getting backstories for in the second volume, and it's fantastic. But yeah, so that's that. Southern Bastards Volume 1, pick it up. Super cheap.
Yes, please do.
Click on the ad. All that good stuff. Now for your favorite part of the show. The moment you've all been waiting for. I actually didn't. I'm never. Obviously, I usually don't hear of any of these characters, but Chris got to pick this one tonight.
And I didn't read anything, so I'd be surprised. I just saw his costume and was like, "Yep, this is the guy."
Okay, so the hypno-hustler. That is no joke. That is the actual name. Is the shitty villain of the week. Let me read this. The hypno-hustler is a jive-talking, black soul disco singer who uses his goggles and evil boots of death to hypnotize music lovers alongside his backup band, the Mercy Killers. You can't make that shit up. He uses his goggles and evil boots of death to hypnotize music lovers. Oh
it's
my
so
god!
Great. The fact he's a disco player too makes it so much better.
Okay. He used music to hypnotize people at concerts to giving him their money and valuables. He used a mixtape along with his boombox to hypnotize people. This is like a Scooby-Doo villain. Oh my god. Eventually,
I'm pretty sure it's a Spider-Man villain.
His name is Antoine. Eventually, Antoine met 3 women who could amplify his hypnosis powers by singing. He hypnotized them into joining him and called them the Mercy Killers. That's actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
In the action of robbing the club owned by the very man who took Antoine off the streets, Hypno-Hustler encountered Spider-Man. He was promptly beaten and sent to jail. Wow. Okay, so abilities and gadgets. Hypno-Hustler is an apparent inventor creating the specialized goggles he wears that are able to induce mass hypnosis. His belt can discharge a moderate electrical blast. His boots house 3-inch retractable spikes in each sole that he could use to stomp his adversaries, and can release an airborne anesthetic gas from the tips of the boots. Wow.
So he's Disco Joker.
Yeah, so he's already limited himself by only being able to rob concert goers. At least you know most people bring cash to concerts, so I guess that's one sure way to make sure they have cash on them.
Yeah, those beers are expensive, man.
Yeah, especially nowadays. Oh my god, this would be a perfect time to have this. Like, screw robbing banks. I mean, you can never be sure if the bank's going to have cash on hand. You just go to a concert, especially if it's one of those, like, you know, I don't know, a childhood star concert where there's a bunch of kids and the parents have to bring all the money for the kids and the kids' friends, and then you get hundreds of dollars per person. I don't know how he would be able. I'm sure Spider-Man didn't have any issue getting this guy.
Well, you know, Spider-Man's a known hater of all music.
He just really hates disco music.
Yeah, that's so great.
I see a pattern here. It's usually the shitty villain usually ends up being a Spider-Man or a Batman villain. But
I've got some Batman villains to share with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, but so let's just think about this. I mean, this guy, you know, he went through all this trouble. Like, if he could really hypnotize people, why wouldn't he just hypnotize them into paying for a concert that he put on, and then he could really fool the system and just be like, yeah, I'm actually a really good artist, and have people think that he was, you know, an actual artist and not like hypnotizing them into like bringing their money up on stage.
So yeah, so normally with our shitty villains, there's either something there that like is irredeemable about it, like you just couldn't do it today, or you have to be crazy like Grant Morrison to do it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a real like modern story you could do here.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, there's a certain point where it just becomes extremely cheesy. But I mean, you're writing comic books here. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say he was the shittiest villain that we've talked about. But
no.
When we post his costume and stuff to the Facebook page, you'll understand why he's pretty shitty. Like,
yes, and that's a great segment to our ending.
Yes.
So all of our shitty villains are now on the website. So if you go to the website, you can click on the tab for Shitty Villain of the Week, and they're all there with pictures and mild descriptions. Also, we post all of those onto our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Fortress of Comic News, and all of our trades as well on there. Also, if you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share, and comment it all on the bottom. I also have some Let's Play series going up. All of episode 1 of Telltale's Batman is now up, and I'm working on episode 2. As well as unboxings. We got stuff up now. It's not just
yeah, Chris has been unboxing stuff. Yeah. But I think that's it. Other than
so please go on to the Facebook and like us. Please, on iTunes or any other podcast service, give us a review, 5 stars. Tell us why you like us.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, YouTube, subscribe. I need numbers on YouTube.
Yeah, we could use some numbers on YouTube. Even if you don't listen to it on YouTube, just subscribe. Give us that number.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're an iTunes listener, just go on YouTube, hit subscribe real quick. Sometimes we got cool stuff that goes up. Like I said, we're doing more and more with YouTube, so even if you don't like the podcast on YouTube, there might be other stuff we do on there that you enjoy. But I think that's everything, Mike.
Yep, I think that's it. So for this, Fortress of Comic News, we'll see you in the same comic place, same comic channel. Something. I'll work on that one.
Facebook.com. /Fortress of Comic News.
Yep.
I don't know. But yeah. See you guys.